Hey, it's me, MLB. Here is Really Fake, Chapter 36, and this one is titled Shaking My Head, This Guy. You followed nervously behind her, while Kuroo followed you, his keen eyes observing the stiff way that you were walking as you mechanically followed the nurse on duty. As you neared the end of the corridor, the nurse stopped at the door on your right. "You's in here," she said as she gestured to the room. "But, ma'am, I must warn you." You waited, biting the inside of your cheek and staring at her with doe eyes as you steeled yourself for the worst. "You has been put into a medical coma," she said. "Your pa has had a massive stroke and has lost feeling and movement in his entire left side. He also cannot speak." You bit harder into the inside of your cheek and your brows furrowed with the pained sorrow as you continued to look at her. "What's the prognosis?" Kuroo asked as he stepped up behind you and placed a hand on your shoulder, feeling that you couldn't speak at that point, which was correct. "Prognosis?" you thought with surprise. Since when does a volleyball captain know the word prognosis? "He has spunk," the nurse said with a small smirk on her beautiful face, her dark eyes shining with amusement. "If the pressure in his brain goes down very quickly, he will make a good recovery. It looks bad with all the tubes in him at the moment, but he is in good hands." "Okay," Kuroo said with a small nod. "Thank you, nurse. Nurse Patience," the nurse replied with a polite head nod. "Yeah, you'd need a lot of patience to work here," Kuroo mused to her. "Honey, I've been in this game for 25 years and have been dead for the last 20. Patience is the name of the guardian angel who rests my soul," she quipped dryly with another small smirk before stepping back and gesturing to the room again. "Enjoy your visit and don't forget to talk to him. He may not show any recognition, but he can still hear you." "Thanks again," Kuroo said with a polite smile before squeezing your shoulder to get your attention. "You ready?" he asked softly. You nodded and hung your head, following him into the room once he had let you go and walked past you. A soft rhythmic beating drew your attention to the lone bed in the small hospital room, and you slowly looked up. Your pa was asleep, oxygen mask on, with cannulas in both arms and an oxygen saturation clip tagged onto his index finger. "Pa," you croaked as you walked past Kuroo and came up beside his bedside. "Hey," you added as you placed your hand on his soft yet knobbly barnacle-covered hand. "It's me." Kuroo grabbed a chair from nearby and quickly placed it behind you and then gently pushed it towards the back of your knees so you'd sit down. Without thinking, you sat, still looking at your pa, who was out like a light. You sniffed heavily and quickly ducked your head to your sleeve, wiping your eyes on it before looking back at him in the bed again. Silently, Kuroo came up behind you and placed his hand on your shoulder again, just to let you know that he was still there. "You need to get better, okay, Pa?" you croaked, bottom lip wobbling as a tear slipped down your cheek. "He will," Kuroo whispered from behind you. "He won't go down without a fight. Will you, Pa?" The only reply was the beeping of the heart monitor from beside the bed, the sole sign that Pa was still alive. "How long will he be here?" you whispered, looking back and up at Kuroo behind you. "It's very lonely at home." "I'll drop by," Kuroo offered. "I'd say that I'd stay, but Pa here can hear me. I'm trying to stay in his good books," Kuroo added, winking at you before glancing at Pa. "We have visitors!" a lively voice cajoled as a very eccentric-looking old man bounced through the door, his white hair sticking up in all directions. Pleasure. My name's Dr. Wright. I'm looking after this young man here," he said as he pointed to your Pa. "Bit quiet, but a good man nonetheless." The doctor cackled at his own comment, leaving you and Kuroo staring at him like a pair of stunned mullets. "What?" you thought as your eyes boggled at the supposed doctor. That joke was very borderline. "We're expecting Mr. Lin here to make a full recovery," the Dr. Wright said as he twitched and jerked his head a little, picking up a chart at the end of the bed. "We've knocked him out, but he'll be back around too soon." Doctor?" you asked hesitantly. "When do you think he'll wake up?" "Oh, I'd say in around another week or so," the doctor said as he waved his hand flippantly. "Once he's up and out of that bed, I'll crawl in," he added, then cackled again before putting the chart down. "The nurse looking after him is top-notch. She's also the unit manager of this ward, so she knows her stuff." "Oh," you said with surprise. "I didn't think the nurse managers looked after patients. I thought they managed the nurses." "True," Dr. Wright said as he pointed his pen at you. "Give this girl a gold star. But Nurse Patience asked to oversee this case personally, and who am I to tell her she can't? Not my place, no, not one bit," he said emphatically. "Well, I'll be off now. Another face to look at, another chart to read." he said loudly, a large grin on his face as he turned and walked to the door with a slight skip in his step. What the hell was that all about? He whispered. Quite an eccentric doctor, Kuroo commented. What's with you and all these big words today? You asked the rooster-haired captain, turning to look back and up at him. What do you mean? He asked curiously. Prognosis and now eccentric? You asked. Well, if you think they're big words, then get ready for this one. Docosahexaenoic acid. What even? DHA, he replied with a smirk. Blown away by how smart I am, huh? He added as he bent down to your eye level and leaned across the back of the chair so he could peer at you with those intense eyes. Immediately you were captivated by his cat-like hazel irises, and you froze in place, heart rate starting to increase as he paused there. I bet that heart monitor would be going off right now if you were attached to it, he teased lowly. You swatted at his cheek playfully with a pout. Go away, fiend! Be gone! You shooed. Pa, Yin's being mean, Kuroo teased. He's trying to seduce me, you replied defensively. And it's working, he quipped. No, it's not, you squeaked with embarrassment. Here's a question. Are nurse patients and MF related? They sound very similar. Wonder where nurse patients is from. I'll see if you can guess the accent. I'll see you in the next chapter coming tomorrow. See you then.